very much. I'm glad of that, but I still don't want to have to pay the interest on $552,000. So they're not allowing small businesses to come in and say, "Whoa, hold on a second! I don't need that much. I only need $150,000. I need to cover the next 2 payrolls, and I'll be fine again once my receivables."
Brett had a question.
Well, not a question. It's more of a comment that this is the typical problem with government, especially on the federal level, is that you've got a bureaucracy where they want to check the appropriate box, and if you don't fit into that square peg and they can't just fill in the right circle or square or whatever, that they don't know what to do at that point. And that's the problem when we have the federal government administer these programs. I thank God that Donald Trump is the president right now, because God knows what would happen if we had a Democrat in charge. But still, you still have a big, long, entrenched federal bureaucracy that is trying to administer these programs, and it's still sort of business as usual in some of the agencies.
Right.
Well, you're right.
It's a bureaucracy. These people have been in those positions for decades.
Donald Trump.
We change our president, we change our senators and congressmen, but we don't change the actual bureaucrats who run the day-to-day operation, and that's where the logjam is right now.
Donald Trump, in my opinion, is doing a remarkable job. The press is just on him all the time, and they keep saying, "Well, why is it that every day you say something different?" Because the situation changes from day to day. He is a great field commander. I mean, he bends with the direction that the problem here.
Well, additionally, Ron, he's getting advice from dozens of people every day, and he has to take that advice from dozens of people, sift it, filter it, and come out with what needs to be delivered to the American people. And that's not always an easy thing to do.
But we're just really impressed with him. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're going to have here, if we get this stay-at-home lifted, we have a gentleman named Buddy Hall who has a bus that's called the Trump Train, and it's all wrapped, and he wants to bring it here and park it in the parking lot for people to see what a dynamic president that we have, and we're so excited about that. We were going to get Ted Hayes, who calls himself Mr. Patriot, and he's from California. He does roller skating in a lot of movies where you see people skating on the beach, and we want to have him here as well. It's just we just want to have a really good time once this is lifted and people can go out again. This will be phenomenal. We're working on that.
I'm looking forward to coming out to that, Ron.
We're gonna do that. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine, Art, has put me in touch with this gentleman. We speak about every other day, and he's really excited to get going with this bus. It's phenomenal, and everybody wants their pictures taken with this bus. It's designed like a train. Looks like a cab of a train. And so, Mike, tell me real quick. I know we're going to have to leave real soon for our next segment, but tell me about right now. There are so many businesses that are closed, and there's nobody in them. And are you seeing your business rise?
I am, actually, to be quite honest with you. I mean, we've added well over 400 man-hours per week to our schedule because a lot of companies have shut down. But, for example, we got a call from a representative from Nordstrom. Everybody knows Nordstrom. All their stores are closed. But inside each Nordstrom store is tens of millions of dollars worth of merchandise. So they're reaching out to us saying, okay, we want a guard at every single Nordstrom. We've had the same outreach from Cox, from Verizon. They've said, hey, we want to have a security guard at every single store. We're reducing hours, so we want to have a guard there because of the potential for robbery. So,
hey, Mike,
right now,
excuse me, Mike. We have Mr. O'Connor has put the music on. You know what that means? We're taking a hard break here. We thank you for being. We thank you. Well, we're going to move on after the next section, so we're going to say goodbye for now, and we'll have you on again very near future, maybe Monday. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk about if you have a toilet paper problem. We're going to tell you that we've got a little secret as to what you can do. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
China is the oldest culture in the world, with a written history dating back some 3,500 years. And even 3,500 years ago, China's civilization was old. What do they attribute their longevity to? Healthy eating. Put some longevity in your life and enjoy fine Chinese cuisine at Yao's Restaurant at 2487 South Gilbert Road in Gilbert. For takeout and catering, call 480-899-0308. That's 480-899-0308. Yao's Fine Chinese Cuisine.
Do you have a face for radio? I know I do. And when I found how easy it was to get started in an interesting, informative radio program, I jumped at the chance. Since AM radio program is being replaced by podcasting, you can even create your own programming from your home. Hi, I'm Ron Lutters, better known as Uncle Ronnie on my Fighting Back radio program. If you have a business, a hobby, or a passion, and you would like to share that with others, then podcasting may be for you. With strong desire, some talent, and a deep passion, you too could get your radio message on your very own radio programming on Hub Radio Phoenix Network. We have one of the best broadcast engineers in Arizona to help you every step of the way. If you are interested in the enjoyment of podcasting, call me at 602-677-1496 to discuss the effective and affordable way to own your very own radio program. That's 602-677-1496.
I want to live better and do more for the environment. I just want to be healthy, but I don't even know where to start.
I just subscribed to an awesome magazine called Green Living with great tips, events, and recipes that help me go green and live healthy.
Green Living magazine will inspire you to make eco-conscious decisions for a healthy life and a healthy planet. Pick up Green Living today at Fry's, Whole Foods, and 500 other locations statewide. Or subscribe at greenlivingaz.com. Find us on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. Live, work, and play green with Green Living magazine.
Sight is a very precious gift. If the quality of your eyesight is becoming a concern, see a world of difference at Family Eye Care Associates. With over a quarter century of experience in the Valley, Family Eye Care Associates offers complete diagnosis and treatment of cataracts, glaucoma, diabetes and dry eyes, and thorough retinal evaluations with dilated exams and retinal imaging. Specialized doctors, highly trained and certified technicians, licensed opticians, pediatric and geriatric care, contact lens fittings, and high-quality lenses and frames at prices you'll like. And as always, all of this comes with friendly, personalized service. We accept most insurances and have 2 convenient locations in both the East and West Valley. Give Family Eye Care Associates a call now. In Scottsdale, dial 480-419-3900. For the Glendale area, dial 602-843-2900. Family Eye Care Associates is a proud member of Vision Source, a network of premier eye care practices.
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Well, thank you for standing by. I guess you had to stand by because you can't go out. You know where to go. Everything's closed. But at any rate, we do appreciate you tuning in and listening. And I have Brett Mecum here, and he's running for National Committeeman of the Republican Party of Arizona. We'll get to that in a minute. Do you have a toilet paper problem? At any rate, that's not funny. For those of you that have been out trying to locate toilet paper, it's been a real problem. And Brett, I don't understand why that's the first item off the shelf. I've never thought of my fellow Arizonans as being full of, never mind.
Well, my big concern, Ron, is I see all the toilet paper gone, but all the toilet cleaning supply is well stocked. So I just am curious if people are not buying those as well.
I don't know. Any rate, for those of you that know me well, you know that I'm a prepper, 1, and 2, that I kind of like alternative things. So to supply ourselves, there's this thing that's called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Wussy Wipe. Wasi Wipe, WYSI-WIPE, multi-purpose wipes. You can get 100 of these items through Amazon. And here's what they say a little bit about them. They're not specifically used for toilet paper, but little towelettes. So you can use these for, well, whatever you'd like. So they're biodegradable towelettes. You just add water to them, and they're little, it looks like a big old aspirin, about yay big. Put that in there and put a little water on it, and it unfolds, and you can use it for that. It's hypoallergenic. It's super soft and gentle. It's disposable. Perfect. And, Brett, reusable. Now, I don't know about that part, but I wouldn't care to reuse this stuff.
Desperate times, Ron. Desperate times.
Desperate times. Desperate action. That's true. So, at any rate, you can get these at Amazon. It's KYSI Wipe Multi-Purpose Wipes. And it comes in a 100-pack. Just add water. So there you are. And I would like to do that as a public service. And I've done my duty for the day. So you do yours. So, at any rate, there's a section here, Brett, that we try to talk about. We call it In the News. And I want to talk about a couple of things. Please join in to us. Sure. Those of you that at home, we have a number here that if you'd like to call in, you may. 602-475-9844. That's 602-475-9844. If you'd like to call in, talk to us about toilet paper shortages or anything else. But I wanted to go
sky's the
across,
limit.
Most of the listeners here are older people, and something happened today. Linda Tripp, you might remember her from the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky days. She passed away today at age 70. Boy, time flies. I can't imagine.
Well, 70 is still pretty young.
But gosh, it just seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
That was 96 or something like that, 98.
Yeah. Bill Clinton was president. Berets were in.
22 years ago. Wow, that's amazing.
Do you remember the Saturday Night Live sketches where John Goodman used to play Linda Tripp?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I remember those. I'm now dating myself too, so.
Yeah, well, he's not as young as he looks. What can you expect with somebody that's bald? He's bald before his. I think you got too close to the razor when you shaved this morning and missed the hairs on your chin and got the hairs on your face. At any rate, this is one of the things that I was kind of proud of. Yesterday, Wisconsin had a primary election for President of the United States. It was a Democrat primary election, and it was not well attended because people didn't want to go out and vote, but people still did. And it looked like Bernie Sanders threw in the towel finally this morning. He did not win. And it looks like democratic socialism is what he called it, is dead. Can you imagine democratic socialism? That's a term that's kind of an oxymoron, I guess. We had some people on here, Brett, a couple of weeks ago, some young people from around the world. And one of the people said, the difference between free markets and socialism is like an adult and a child. One is the free market. Adults choose what they want to purchase and the direction they want the economy to go in. And under socialism, the government tells you as a child what they think you should have and in what quantities. It's a good analogy.
The Democrat Party is like that because they basically told their party members that they are going to have Joe Biden. You had a choice between a socialist and basically the party elite choosing for you. That was the only choice you had in the Democrat primary.
Right. And there's some talk here that Cuomo, they've been grooming Cuomo and he'll get in the race. I've not been too impressed with watching him. All as I hear is whine, 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 that the federal government's not doing enough. And this is a state and a city where all of their leaders says, we're prepared for the virus, but it's not a big deal. Just go out and live your life, go to the theaters, go to the subways and so forth. And they were misled by their leaders.
Well, I grew up in upstate New York when his father was governor. His father,
Mario?
Yeah, his father, Mario, destroyed the New York economy then. Andrew's no better. Remember, he used to be married to a Kennedy as well, so he's got, all the liberal pedigree
all the markings,
that you could want.
All the markings of a true liberal. Oh, it's amazing. I listened to, and I don't know why they play him every morning. He's on, and I cannot understand that as to why every morning we have to listen to New York, and it's crazy.
It's funny if you look at the New York budget. They had to climb themselves out of a $12 billion.
Caller, sure. Just a minute. Go ahead, caller. Hello. I don't know how to operate this phone here.
I think you hung up on them. Well, I was going to say that they had to climb themselves out of a $12 billion budget hole. I mean, that's the size of the entire Arizona budget.
Yeah.
And that was their budget deficit, and they wouldn't shrink the size of government. They want to continue to spend their way out of that hole.
Yes.
Wonder why people are leaving the state and moving to places like Arizona, where the weather's nicer and the taxes are lower.
Exactly. You know, I heard him moaning and groaning they're going to have like a $37 billion deficit. And the federal government's only going to be able to kick in $3 billion into it. And I'm thinking, what part of our Constitution did you guys miss in school? Why is it the federal government's responsibility to see that your economy runs well? Additionally, that the federal government should maintain a stockpile of medical supplies rather than the state of New York. It's a
Well, I mean, again, the state of New York still has yet to get the memo that you can't spend your way into prosperity.
Yes. At any rate, I wanted to go on here for just a minute about this Bernie thing. I'm really shocked that he didn't release his delegates to support Biden, which really surprises me, and he's still looking to pick up more delegates. That tells me that he's not really suspending his campaign. He's changing his strategies.
You're probably right, but he also probably realizes that Joe Biden is a lackluster candidate for the Democrat Party. He probably thinks that things could change the convention. And you got to remember, the Democrat rules are different than the Republican rules of the convention. They still have their superdelegates. Now, they changed those rules a little bit where superdelegates don't get to vote on the first ballot, but the whole math changes if you get to a second ballot, which is, to me, why it's far better to be part of the Republican Party when we have a very grassroots nominating process, and the Democrats are the opposite with their top-down, and party leadership are going to spoon-feed you and tell you who the nominee is going to be.
Yeah. We did have a caller here, and I'm trying to answer that, but I don't know. I pushed the buttons on this phone. Oh, I know. It's a Samsung phone. Okay, so I have to do this differently, right?
I'll try to answer the calls on the next time around and see if we can get it right.
Yeah. So, at any rate, the number here is 602-475-9844. And maybe somebody that's smarter than me can figure out how to answer the phone. At any rate, the other thing I wanted to talk about is I keep hearing, and it's come out more and more, that another stimulus package is being prepared. And that package is that they want to forgive all the students of student debt. Now, this was Bernie Sanders' Democrat Party wants to do this, which is crazy. Brett, you and I talked ahead of during our prep time, and it seems to me that if students are having difficulties paying off their student debts, and it's a 36-month debt that they have, that we could just extend it. We should not alleviate that debt that they owe to the banks and is guaranteed by taxpayers.
Right. I mean, it's again the shadow attempts of socializing America.
Yes.
I mean, they want to give away that for free and that for free, and nothing's ever truly free. Somebody's got to pay for it, and that just becomes just a downward spiral. And again, I'd love to cite my good friend, former state senator Frank Cantonori, who I know a lot of folks in Arizona know. I saw Frank speak at the Pima County Lincoln Day dinner just before we all had to do our stay-at-home orders and so forth. And Frank said there is a way to have free education in this country. It's basically putting up your right hand and swearing allegiance to the Constitution and joining the U.S. military. And that's how you get free education.
With the Bill of Rights, yes, you can go to school on the Bill of Rights.
That's right.
Which is a good idea there. So, at any rate, I'm Democrats just don't seem to have any creative juices, and the Constitution is very clear about individual responsibilities. And I don't know where the Democrat Party ever went wrong in reading and understanding the responsibility of each and every person within this country, but they somehow missed it.
Well, remember your Ronald Reagan. He said that he didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left him.
Yes, and I have another subject here that this doctor, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this. I hear it pronounced different ways. Fauci. He indicated that he thinks that mandatory vaccines are going to be taking place very soon, and that should be a big boon for Big Pharma and Bill Gates, who don't really need the money. But can you imagine that it's mandatory for every American citizen? I know I'm not in favor of that, and I don't think I would go and take a vaccine like that.
I think mandatory, I mean, we're slipping down a dangerous road.
Yes. Oh, no. Is it that time, Mr. O'Connor? Mr. O'Connor's driving this bus, and when he starts playing the music, he gives me this sign to zip it up. So we're getting ready to zip it up. So now you know what's going on in America. You know where to get your toilet paper. Please join us on the other side, and caller, if you'd like to call back. Oh, I see you calling back right now. We'll try and catch you over break, okay? So we'll see you then. Bye.
Camelback Toyota, located conveniently on 16th Street in Camelback, off the 51 freeway, easy to get to right here in the city. You work downtown, stop on your way home, take a look at some beautiful new cars, used cars. Derek and John O'Malley Jr. and my mechanics in the back, Abe and Jereb and Tom, my man Jake, Felix, John Wicks is there, Levi. They are trained and trained heavily. They know everything backwards and forwards on any Toyota. Customer satisfaction numero uno at Camelback Toyota.
Come home to the gated community of Crisman Peaks and 5,350 square feet of pure luxury. Floor plans include 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 4-car garage, home theater, even guest quarters. Breathtaking views are included at no extra charge. For more information, call 602-505-0004. Custom homes with the quality you expect, the value you demand. Call 602-505-0004 today.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Join me live and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. This month, Quantum Digest is on special. It's the most purified USP plant enzymes. No matter what you eat, it has the power to support its digestion. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 800-370-3447.
Flint's Flowers knows what the kid and you really wants.
Hey, hold it down.
The Flint's Flowers snack pack is the perfect gift for anyone.
Thanks, this is just what I need.
Great. Now how about a kiss?
Don't push it.
Get a room.
The snack pack has cookies, chips, pudding, nuts, and lots of other goodies.
What's a goodie?
Read your script, kid.
See the snack pack live on the Flynn's Flowers website at flynnsflowers.net. Order a snack pack today for that special.
Thank you.
Or send a snack pack to someone in the military. That's flynnsflowers.net. Flynn's Flowers, the official florist of Air America Phoenix. The Flynn's Flowers snack pack. It's almost too big to eat.
These are great. Got any more?
What's that, number 9?
flynnsflowers.net. Order a snack pack today and charge it.
Want a sucker?
Bubblegum?
That's flynnsflowers.net.
Can I get a snack pack?
You're listening to Fighting Back. News talk, current events, and political commentary. And now here's your host, Uncle Ronnie.
Hello again, and we have another quote here by Dr. Fauci that is kind of an interesting quote, and I'm not sure where this man's coming from exactly. He says that he doesn't believe America will ever come back to normal. That's pretty scary. Leaders aren't supposed to be doing that type of thing. We'll never get back to normal, and I decided to look this guy up. And I'm kind of interested because I didn't know quite where he came from or why he has the attitude he does. He's with the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Diseases. So I wondered what that was. I mean, I didn't know much about that. I don't know if you did, Brett.
No.
And come find out, it is an agency in the United States Department of Health is where this guy came from. He is 80 years old. And about 4'3". No, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of crude. But he doesn't look very tall, especially standing next to Trump. But I'm kind of wondering about some of these statements that he's making. The chloroquine, indicating that that's, that he doesn't think that's one of the things that they should be doing. So that's my next statement here, that the medical group, there is a medical group that has endorsed the hydrochloroquine, and there's some real promising things about that. And the thing that was, and I wondered if taking that would get rid of the Trump syndrome, the Trump derangement syndrome. I would hope that taking that would take care of the hydrochloroquine. But I found out today from some friends that I text with and chat with, and they said a French doctor said that African people have not suffered much under this virus because they take this hydrochloroquine for malaria, and a lot of malaria that's gone on in Africa. And just to give you an idea, in this country that I checked out, 84 million people, 180 cases of the virus.
Well, my math isn't all that good, but that's very, very low.
Very, very low. And they're saying, the French doctors are saying, that this hydrochloroquine is the thing that's creating it. It's stopping people as a prophylactic. It's stopping people from getting the disease. And yet in this country, we have doctors arguing about it. And Trump's gut feeling is we should take it. There's no side effects to this that I have heard of or read about. And it just seems like it's a good thing. And he's ordered, I forget how many millions dosages of these. And I'm just of the opinion that maybe this is the type of thing that we ought to be doing, taking this. So at any rate, that's that. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about is WHO, World Health Organization. This organization is set up by the United Nations. That gives you the first warning that something's wrong here. Why is it that we did not know much about what was going on in the world early on, when the World Health Organization should have known about this?
Well, I mean, you're also talking about an organization that praised China's handling of the virus to begin with.
Amen.
I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, because it was terrible. Now the president is saying, and this is a good thing, he says, we're going to start looking at funding. The United States funds the biggest portion of the World Health Organization, and yet it let the world down, and especially the United States, the Chinese and the World Health Organization, and that's why we have a lot of these problems, I believe.
Absolutely.
So we'd like to see that go away. One of the other things, Brett, and then I want to get on with what you're doing and why you're running. I'm a little concerned about how our rights are being taken away from us by the government. I'm not sure that the government has the right to tell the little nail place next door that they got to shut down their business. I'm not sure they have the right to tell the little barber shop over here they have to close down their business. I'm not sure why in some states the governors have shut down gun shops when guns are given to us as a right. Now we're talking about Easter, and we know that some of the people have been, ministers have been arrested for actually having church services. Now, this is troubling to me, that we put the Constitution on the shelf and we're doing all types of things that are unconstitutional. Do you have a comment on that?
I think I think we're on a very, very slippery slope. Obviously, it's the role of the government to protect the health and the welfare of its people, but
and that's the economic health as well, I might say.
Right, you're right. We're very, very quickly approaching a bridge too far, and the problem is it seems to me, Ron, that the timetable keeps getting extended and extended and extended, and what are we going to be left with? I mean, at the rate we're going, we could be left with a defunct country. We've already crashed the greatest economy in modern history how much farther can we go, and how much farther can the people of this country stand before we start to have some form of civil unrest?
Well, as terrible as this disease is, and we know that it's very, very contagious, probably 8 to 10 times more contagious than other flus, and yet you take the number of deaths, and they're not, we had this N1A1 back about 2009 or 10, which took many more lives, and
it took the Obama administration almost a year and a half to basically enact anything regarding that virus.
And I don't remember that there was this type of a concern. Now, anytime anybody dies of a disease that may be able to be avoided, it's one thing. But we have this herd immunity type thing, and I think suddenly we're going to find that a lot of people are immune to this. And when we have this hydrochloroquine medicine that's available and we're not using it, and yet at the same time we're allowing our economy to go to hell, pardon me folks for using that kind of language, but it's going to hell. There's something wrong with this picture, and we need to start putting Americans back to work, and life's got to be at your own risk. If you really don't want to go out because you're fearful of getting this disease, I know I take precautions, and I'll continue to take precautions whether every store in the neighborhood is open or not.
Absolutely.
But
well, and I mentioned this to you offline earlier, it's just when you're looking at folks standing in line to wait their turn to go into Walmart or Costco or those places, you can't help but draw comparisons to what the old Soviet bread lines used to look like, with people just waiting to get in and standing in line to get into stores. I mean, this is, while health and safety is important, this may be the most un-American thing that's been happening.
Oh, by far. And thank God our president keeps talking about the governors need to be the ones that address the issues in the state. He does understand the Constitution, and nowhere in the Constitution does it give the United States government the right to shut down this country.
I mean, could you imagine, Ron, if Hillary was president?
Oh, I dread to think about Hillary. I dread to think about the people that are on the horizon. I dread to think, President Trump has given us great leadership, okay? He's on it. He's not putting up with BS. I mean, I've seen him some of these journalists, one of them that really upset me when he asked the president, he says, how many deaths are acceptable? And I'm thinking, what a moron. What an absolute moron. How many deaths are acceptable? None.
Right.
Why would you even ask a question like that? How many deaths are acceptable? And I hear this day in and day out, these people that, I'll give you another example. There was a woman, and she started out that the rollout of your financial bailout, or whatever they wanted to call it, has gone really nasty. It's a bad start, and it's getting worse. What are you going to do to improve it? Well, the president looked at her, and I was so glad. He says, you could have said that the effort is gallant, and we're doing our best, and we're looking at it, and we're going to try to make corrections where we have problems. It's a good rollout, and let's do the right thing, instead of just criticize everything that this president does.
That's right. And they will blame Trump for everything, and they'll continue to blame Trump for everything because they continue to believe he's some form of illegitimate president.
Exactly. Well, Brett, let's move along to you.
Oh, sure.
Now that we've exhausted the coronavirus, it's not going to attack anybody. It's too tired after this. As I said, Brett's been involved with the party for a long, long time, and this is one of the position you're running for is probably about the highest next to the state chairman that you can run in the local politics. Why? Tell us what the job is that you're going for, and why do you want to run for this position?
Sure. We'll give a brief overview of what it is. It's the position is Republican National Committeeman. Each state has a Republican National Committeeman and a Republican National Committeewoman. I know that Lori Klein, who's the National Committeewoman, was here recently and did the show with you as well. So each of those are elected at the state convention where we elect delegates to the national convention. We're elected for a 4-year term. Presently, Bruce Ashe has the position right now. He's not running again. He's had the position since 2007 and has decided he's done it long enough. And so there was an opening, and I chose to run. There's 168 members of the Republican National Committee, one state chairman, one National Committee man, and a National Committee woman from each state and territory. So that makes up your 168.
Wow. Okay, now this is kind of one of these jobs that most people don't know about. They've heard of it, but
sure.
Now, what exactly does this job entail?
Well, it's kind of I describe it as kind of the board of directors of the Republican National Committee. And what the RNC, what 168 members of the RNC do is they basically set Republican Party policy. They set up the primary process for our presidential primaries. They basically make adjustments to the party platform, and they also help give strategy and advice on how the RNC should be spending its dollars and resources and where the dollars should go and the states that they should play in. The position also sits on the executive committee of the Arizona Republican Party as well. So it's a pretty prominent role as far as the state party is as well.
Okay, now, is this a paid position?
It is not. Everything is done at your own cost. There are 3 Republican National Committee meetings a year, and those meetings are all over the country. Sometimes they're in Washington, D.C., sometimes they're in Florida. They pick various places to go. They've been to Arizona a few times, but you have to foot your own bill to travel to these meetings and so forth.
Boy, that sounds like an expensive proposition.
It is, but it's worth it to basically be to be a voice of the grassroots at the national level and be able to represent Arizona Republicans and make sure that the Republican National Committee knows how important Arizona is, but not just important, but also be able to take the voices of folks from not just Phoenix, but Mojave County and Cochise County and La Paz County, and be able to speak on the national level on what it is Arizona Republicans want and what they expect of their Republican Party.
I remember, well, we all know, we have a lot of rhinos. For those of you that don't know what a rhino is, it's a Republican in name only, and they don't believe in the conservative principles of the party. Now, Brett, are you a conservative?
I'm a conservative, and I think if you look at some of my past employment history, executive director of the Republican Party under Randy Pullen, conservative chairman, deputy chief of staff to then Arizona Speaker David Gowan, a rock rib conservative. I think that who I associate myself with, I think you could easily say that I am definitely conservative. I certainly believe I'm a conservative. I work for mainly conservative candidates. I think if you go down the list of issues, I'm 100% there. I'm a life member of the NRA. I'm a bundler for the Trump Victory Fund. I worked on the Trump campaign in 2016. I was part of the presidential inauguration in 2016. So I think I've got the conservative credentials.
Sounds like you've been busy. No wonder I haven't seen you around much. Interesting. I want to talk to you just a little bit about the NRA. What do you think of states closing down gun shops and ammunition facilities? I mean, the Democrats have been moving in this direction for a long time.
Well, what's the adage they like to use? Never let a good crisis go to waste. Certainly that they want to curb Second Amendment rights as much as they can. They're using the crisis as a reason to do so. Certainly that's not happening in Arizona, but certainly in other states like California.
Ducey's been smart and considered that as a necessary business.
I don't know how when it's something that's guaranteed and promised in the United States Constitution, I don't know how anyone could see it a different way.
And for those of you that are listening and never really gave this any thought, our First Amendment is our freedom of speech. And that our freedom of speech is backed up by our Second Amendment, which gives us the right to bear arms. If you study the history of the world, there weren't too many people that, after guns were confiscated, that talked back to Adolf Hitler.
That's right.
There weren't too many people that spoke back to Mussolini.
Right.
There weren't too many people that spoke back to Joseph Stalin.
That's right. It's where gun rights are curbed. That's where tyranny exists.
And as a matter of fact, during World War II, after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese were wanting to invade the United States, and some of their generals had gone to school in the United States and said, you don't want to invade the United States.
Yep.
Because there's someone with a gun behind every blade of grass in America, and you'll never invade them.
Yeah, Yamamoto was the most prominent Japanese admiral that was educated in the United States.
Yes, he went to school in the United States, and he knew that is a right that you don't have to ask people in Arizona if they have a gun. We have perhaps the best laws in the United States for gun ownership. And I hate to use the word liberal because that's not what I really mean. But it is the most free ability to carry weapons, concealed or otherwise. And there's an old expression that I've always liked, Brett. An armed society is a polite society.
That is a great expression, and we certainly have some folks in Arizona who are great champions of the cause. Sandy Froman was president of the NRA at one point. I know Todd Rathner down in Tucson is an NRA board member.
And former Attorney General Bob Corbin.
That's right.
Lori Klein's husband.
He used to be. Yep.
He was one of the presidents of the NRA.
That is true.
And those of you that don't know the history, people ask me all the time, well, why do you have a gun? Do you hunt? No, I don't hunt. I love animals. I love to go out and photograph animals in the wild, so I don't hunt. Well, why do you have a gun? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, because I can. The law gives me that right to own a gun. Two, I use it for self-protection of myself, my family, my friends. And three, it's the tyranny of our government that I'm concerned about as well.
Well, and you saw the recent video with Joe Biden and the factory workers. I think they were in Michigan.
Oh, yes.
Joe couldn't get the gun correct. He called it an AR-14, and then questioned, do you really need 100 rounds? I need more than 100 rounds, actually.
Well, as long as we have that right, it's really nobody's business how many rounds we have. We're not breaking the law. The law says we can own these weapons, and we do. And there's various states, as you know, that have New York is another state. Oh my God, I met a guy a couple of years ago, and he came over here. And not only do we have real strict restrictions on guns, but on ammo, you can only buy so many rounds of ammo.
Well, and they've got that rule that you can have a magazine of up to 10 rounds, but you can only load 7 rounds in the 10-round magazine, or you're committing a felony.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons my parents left New York a few years ago. It was after all the gun laws were passed. They moved to South Carolina, where it was far more friendlier.
Well, I had people say, "Why do you need a 30-round magazine?"
Because you can.
Because I can.
Exactly. Are you using it lawfully?
Yeah, I didn't do anything illegally by having 30 rounds of ammunition.
That's right.
Used it. I haven't fired it in the city. I've gone to ranges when I wanted to practice. Most people don't even know that I have weapons. I don't flash them. I don't have them hanging in the back end of my Suburban where people can see them. But they're handy if I need them.
Absolutely.
Well, Brett, tell us a little bit about how are you getting the word out?
Well, this has been a very, we live in strange times, and the election is happening. I saw an email from Chairman Ward of the Republican Party a few days ago that said it's going to go to a form of electronic format, because obviously we can't have our state convention because of the stay-at-home orders. So generally speaking, when I started this campaign back in February, I was driving to all the meetings. I put about 1,500 miles on my truck out of the gate. And then the stay-at-home order happened. So this has become a campaign of picking up the phone and calling people. We're going to be doing some mailings. We're going to do some electronic mailings. We're trying to find the way to get the word out as much as possible. I've got a very, very dedicated team of supporters. that are helping me. Carolyn Leff, Diane Ortiz Parsons, Cherie Verdone endorsed me today, as well as Councilman Sal DeCiccio, Mark Fincham. We just have so
really
many people.
Really good, hardworking conservatives there.
Christy Blackman up in Navajo County up north. I mean, we have a great team that we've got put together. We've got a lot of endorsements we're going to roll out. We're going to be coming into your studio to shoot some video as well. But this is going to be a unique campaign. But I'm going to be talking to every delegate personally, and there are 1,200 plus of them, and it's just a...
Wow, that's a lot of talking, Brett.
Well, I got to do it. But we've got teams of people together in all the districts and counties working for us, and we get more every day, and I'm just excited about where we are right now.
Now, you got a website.
I do.
Saw it.
Yes, I have a website. They actually made the pictures of me look good. I know that's hard to do sometimes, Rob.
Do you have one with hair? Do you have any pictures?
We have to go way back for that one.
I remember when you had hair.
You knew me when I had hair. But yeah, the website is www.brett4FORAZ.com.
I think that's on the screen, isn't it, Mr. O'Connor?
So you can check that out. You can learn about me, more about me. You can sign up to endorse or support me. You can sign up for alerts, and we'll be putting more endorsements, more content there. But those who are going to be delegates, I know you're actually a delegate, so but I'll be calling to ask for your vote, talk more one-on-one about the campaign. I really wish I could get it out, because when I was executive director of the party, I went everywhere. I was in Cochise County and Tombstone at their meetings. I was up in Mojave County. I was up in Navajo and Eager up in Apache County. So I love traveling. I love getting in the truck and going. And
well, I remember seeing you. I think we had dinner one time with a group of people up in Sedona.
Oh yeah.
That was under Speaker Gowan.
Yep. I traveled with him when I was his deputy chief of staff. I traveled with Attorney General Horn. So I've really gotten to know the state inside and out. And I was really looking forward to getting back on the road in the campaign. Like I said, we put 1,500 miles on the truck just out of the gate, but we had to kind of pivot and adjust the strategy based on the national pandemic and the stay-at-home orders. But that doesn't mean that I'm just gonna wait around. Like I said, we're making phone calls. You'll see some emails and letters go out from us. The other exciting thing is that once elected, I'm the kind of guy, and I think you remember this when I worked for the party. I'm the kind of guy that I'm going to show up when I'm asked to show up, or when folks want me to show up. So when we can get back to normal, we can have these meetings again. Once I'm elected the National Committeeman, you'll see a lot of me, because the only way that I can take what's going on in Arizona to the national level and to the RNC is if I come to the meetings, if I come to the Arizona Project meetings, if I come to legislative district and county meetings and Republican club meetings and Tea Party meetings, just to be able to take the message of what Arizona Republicans want back to the national level. And then there's two other quick points I want to make if we've got time.
We have 2 minutes.
2 minutes, 2 points in 2 minutes. The two things that I really want to work on is I believe that Arizona is a far better bellwether of the country than Nevada is. I'm pushing for Arizona to be the first in the West as far as the presidential primary process goes.
Good idea.
And then the final thing is it's time that Arizona had a national convention. I'd like to bring the national convention home here. We attempted to get it in 2012 and 2016, didn't get it, but I think it's time for Arizona, whether it be 2024 or 2028, that we bring a national convention here.
And just think how that would help our economy after what's going on right now, to bring the national convention. I know when I went to Cleveland, I just could not believe the amounts of money that we spent around when we were going to restaurants and.
It's an expensive venture, but I think we need to show off Arizona and show that Arizona is important, and this is why Arizona should be a red state.
Listen, you've been talking with Brett Mecum, the candidate for the National Committeeman from Arizona. And I want you one more time, give your
sure.
website.
The website is www.brett4FORAZ.com. And thanks so much for having me. This has been fun.
Oh, my pleasure. This has been a great time. We're not going to shake hands because we're trying to distance ourselves, but you'll want to at least bump elbows with Brett when you see him. He's gonna do some really wonderful things for this party, and we desperately need that. So, Brett, thanks again, Mr. O'Connor. We thank you for driving this big bus, and you're doing a great job behind the board there. And yeah, you're doing fine. So we'll talk to you all next week. You stay healthy, because we're staying healthy.